Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, police in Lubbock are investigating a murder-suicide involving a woman and her 2 children. New data shows 2023 has become the deadliest summer with heat-related deaths in Harris and Fort Bend counties. Tropical storm Harold made landfall, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Mac?
That's right. The tropical storm rolling in and dropping quite a bit of rain here in the Victoria area. The Crossroads got some, but all the heavy stuff with down south. We're going to talk about that coming up in a moment.
Victoria Fire Department Chief Robert Fox is set to retire September 30th after 27 years with the department. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz. Karina Garcia has the day off. We start with this weather this afternoon. Tropical storm Harold made landfall this morning along Padre Island with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, bringing in much needed rain along with isolated tornadoes in South Texas. A tropical storm warning in effect for the mouth of the Rio Grande through Port O'Connor. A tropical storm watch is in place for Port O'Connor to Sargent. Some areas may get storm surge up to feet. Forecasters are saying some parts of South Texas could expect tornadoes. Now, Tropical Storm Harold did make landfall this morning on Padre Island south of Corpus Christi, and we saw a tornado warning before lunchtime for Goliad County. Closer to home here in Victoria, we saw some rain this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez picks up the story from there. Mac?
Thank you, James. Obviously, it was nice to see the rain. We didn't get a lot of rain, but we got some. Here's the latest image. You can see Victoria right about there. The heavier stuff now running through Gonzales and headed toward Nixon, actually headed toward San Antonio. So Seguin is about to get hit by one particular thunderstorm. You can see the little lightning strikes right about there. So we are now on the, shall we say, on the back end of the storm. The storm has moved inland. It is beginning to fall apart. It's down to a tropical depression. Here's the rain totals for the last 24 hours. Northern half of Victoria County, probably less than a quarter. And as you can see down south, it got over an inch, and they got about 4 to 5 inches of rain south of Corpus Christi. We'll have more details on what to expect from the remnants of Harold coming up in just a moment. Back to you, James.
Lubbock police are investigating the deaths of a woman and 2 children at a house as a murder-suicide. Investigators say a property manager called police after finding a 37-year-old woman inside the house Monday morning. Officers found a 9-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl dead. Remember, help is always available. If you or a loved one is in a mental crisis and need help, call 988. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides free and confidential support to anyone in distress. 2023 is the deadliest summer in the last 5 years for heat-related deaths in Harris and Fort Bend counties. Data from a medical examiner's office shows this summer's heat wave is killing more people than normal. 2023 has already set the record for the highest heat-related deaths in 3 counties: Harris County, Fort Bend County, and Montgomery County. In Harris County, 15 people have died from the heat. Over the weekend, more than 12 people had to go to the hospital after a concert in the Woodlands. A home and several vehicles and storage units destroyed when this fire broke out late Monday night in Port Lavaca. The Port Lavaca Wave reports the fire was at a home near the intersection of Knipling Street and State Highway 35 around 10:15 Monday night. No one was hurt. 8 qualifying presidential hopefuls are ready to make their case to American voters on why they should represent the Republican Party in the next election. Former President Trump is skipping the first 2024 Republican primary debate.
8 Republican presidential hopefuls who have met the Republican National Committee's qualifications will take the stage for Wednesday's first 2024 Republican primary debate. Frontrunner Donald Trump choosing to skip the event, leaving runner-up Florida Governor Ron DeSantis likely to bear the brunt of the attacks.
We got the first debate in this whole shebang we're going to be able to do. It should be a lot of fun.
Next to DeSantis on stage, tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy and former Vice President Mike Pence.
One of my goals in that debate is for the American people, Republican primary voters, to get to know me in a little bit broader context.
But two candidates who didn't make the stage, Larry Elder and Perry Johnson, threatening to sue the RNC, claiming they met the requirements but were rejected anyway. An RNC spokesperson responding, saying criteria to qualify for the first debate was clearly presented to campaigns. Meantime, Trump is preparing to turn himself in to the Fulton County Jail in Georgia Thursday on charges he led a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election results there. His bail is set at $200,000 and stipulates he not intimidate or threaten any witnesses, including his 18 co-defendants. Several of those co-defendants surrendered at the jail today, including lawyer John Eastman, who allegedly proposed a scheme to use fake electors in Georgia and other states to keep Trump in power.
My legal team and I will vigorously contest every count of the indictment.
Trump will be fingerprinted and processed during his anticipated arrest on Thursday and is expected to take his first mugshot. He'll have to return to Atlanta at a later date to be arraigned. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
The Goliad County ISD is concerned about young people vaping and using alcohol, so it changed its code of conduct. The Goliad Advanced Guard reports students on all campuses in the Goliad ISD can only bring clear plastic water bottles with water onto school grounds. The district will conduct random drug testing and drug sweeps more frequently. The Victoria Fire Department has announced the official retirement of Fire Chief Robert Fox. Chief Fox started with the VFD on June 4th, 1996. He became fire chief on July 1st, 2018. Fox is set to retire at the end of September. You can read his farewell letter at crossroadstoday.com. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan the QR code on your screen to vote now. How would you rate your local fire department? Excellent, good, fair, or poor? We want to know. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. We'll have an update on what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News Now at 6. President Biden returned to Lake Tahoe today. The president surveyed the damage caused by wildfires in Maui. He and First Lady Jill Biden heard from survivors, and following an aerial tour, they walked through Lahaina. President Biden acknowledged the long road ahead for the island, but reiterated the federal government will continue to help in recovery, sheltering, and rebuilding efforts. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will remain in Lake Tahoe until Saturday. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Read the Texas Tribune article on Will Hurd failing to qualify for the first GOP presidential debate. That's under news. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. An investigation into the deaths of nearly 40 cattle is underway in Brazoria County. We have that story. Also ahead, newly released video shows the co-owner of a newspaper company confronting police during a raid. Newly released video of a police raid on a 98-year-old Kansas woman's home shows the woman confronting officers. It was posted on the Marion County Record newspaper's website. Joan Meyer co-owns the newspaper with her son. They also shared the home, but he was not home during the police raid. Joan Meyer died the next day. Her son believes stress from the raid contributed to her death. The security video shows at least 6 law enforcement officers conducting the nearly 2-hour search on August 11th.
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am.
This is my house. You're a police chief. You're the chief. Oh, God. Get out of my house.
How many computers do you have in the house, ma'am?
I'm not going to tell you. Get out of my way.
It's all right.
I want to see what they're doing.
Eric Meyer says he believes the raid was prompted by a story published about a local business owner. Authorities say they were investigating what they called identity theft in a search warrant. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is looking into that incident. Several cows were found dead in Brazoria County. Now the DA's office says a criminal investigation is underway. Investigators say the cows were found without water to drink.
Just off a dirt road in the deepest reaches of Brazoria County, it's man versus buzzard in what will become of 3 dozen cow carcasses. The cattle appear to have died from dehydration, says the sheriff. The stench in 100-degree-plus weather is worse than you're even imagining. And Monday, despite best emergency efforts, cows were still dying out here.
There was a small amount at first, and there has continued to be additional cattle deceased as we continue to investigate the scene.
That scene is a sprawling 850-acre ranch 18 miles west of Lake Jackson, and its owner, who has not been charged with animal cruelty at this point, could be if an animal autopsy called a necropsy confirms the sheriff's hunch of dehydration.
It is suspected from dehydration. That's the suspicion, but we also want to ensure that the investigation is done to its fullest, so we want to see if there's any other outlying effects that may be causing the deaths of these animals.
It was a neighbor who noticed the cows were dropping like flies last Friday. That's how authorities got wind. And this coming Thursday, a property hearing will determine if the county seizes the 60 or so remaining living cows.
So it's unclear how many days the cattle were without water. The CDC has issued a harrowing report on maternity care in the U.S. 1 in 5 women reported mistreatment while receiving maternity care, while nearly 10% said healthcare providers ignored them, refused to help, or took too long to help. 1 in 8 black mothers said they were discriminated against because of their race. Researchers believe this explains why black women were more than 2 times more likely than average to die from pregnancy or childbirth in 2021. Health leaders in Maryland say a person who tested positive for malaria was briefly hospitalized and is now at home recovering. 8 other cases of the disease were reported this summer in Florida and here in our state.
For the first time in 20 years, cases of malaria acquired in the U.S. have been reported this summer in Florida, Texas, and now Maryland, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The new Maryland case involves a different parasite, which can cause more severe illness than the strain that caused the other recent cases.
The risk remains very low for not just individuals in Florida, Sarasota County, but throughout the entire United States. The risk is very low.
That's what the CDC had to say in July, and the risk is still extremely low, according to the agency's website. Maryland health officials say the state hasn't seen a case of malaria that wasn't related to travel in more than 40 years. But since the disease is spread by mosquitoes, state health officials are encouraging people to use insect repellent containing DEET, to wear loose-fitted long-sleeve shirts and pants outdoors, and use screens on windows and doors. Symptoms usually appear 10 days to 1 month after the person was infected, but can take up to a year to develop. Those symptoms include fever and flu-like illness, chills, headache, muscle aches, and fatigue. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Texas Tribune has this story on Kyle Rittenhouse. He's launched a nonprofit that has close ties to ultra-conservative mega donors from West Texas. This story is also on crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Tropical Storm Harold moved ashore south of Corpus Christi, brought us some much-needed rainfall. Temperatures in the 80s right now. That's very nice. The rainfall totals, however, were much heavier down south of us. We will be talking about that and talk about what to expect for the rest of the week coming up in just a moment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, some much-needed rainfall arrived today, courtesy of Tropical Storm Harold. This video was shot in Nursery, Texas. As you can see, it was looking pretty good. We didn't get as much rain as it did down south, but we did get something, and it's not completely over with just about yet. But boy, what a change. This is the first day since the beginning of August that we have not been over 100 degrees. How about that? Well, here's a close-up of the county. You can see Victoria City right there. Right here, this blue line, it looks like the southern half of the county got over 1/4 of an inch. Northern half of the county in the green got anywhere from 1/10 to about 1/4 of an inch. So, but it's not over with. There's a few more showers possible tonight and even for the rest of the week. But the main event was down south. You can see it right about here. There's Corpus Christi. Basically, if you know Clayburgh County, which is Kingsville, it came in ashore right there and rolled in and dropped quite a bit of rain. As a matter of fact, one of the rivers on the west side of the county, Oso Creek, is in flood stage right now because they probably got in the 5 to 6 inch range of a shower of rainfall there, and then all the way down to Falfurrias. Now the storm center is now somewhere over, I think, Laredo, but we'll talk about where it's going to go from now. There are your temperatures, folks. Finally, a break in the heat. Some clouds and a little bit of rain. Now, here we are again. As you can see, the city right about there. The shower activity thinning out, but still continuing moving to the northwest. The center of the storm right about here, somewhere over Ensenada, Highway 35 south, and of course continues to decrease. It's no longer a storm, it's a depression. It is raining itself out, but crazy stuff like, well, the Big Bend is going to get rain. The desert is going to get rain as the whole system sort of falls apart out there in the southwest. Here's where the location of it is officially, and you can see how it's less than 30 miles an hour right about now. So it's a little depression. We got winds to 28 miles an hour that I saw the strongest. In Corpus Christi, they got up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, and of course the surf was pretty rough, and they did get some coastal flooding. We got some of it, obviously not as bad. We were on the just outside of the range of getting any kind of damage associated with it, but the remnants will continue drifting across northern Mexico and provide them with another good 2-3 inches of rain. So for us, we still have a shot, maybe another quarter inch possible as this thing sort of winds down. But Harold is somewhere out here and headed toward El Paso, of all places. So outside of Harold, which was our excitement, there's 1, 2, 3 named systems in the Atlantic right about now. Fortunately, all 3 of them are going to go northbound. It won't have much to do with us as we go on into the next couple of days. Here's here's the bad news. The Dome of Doom that went up and allowed that to come through is coming back down. So we're going to get into the hot and steamy stuff very soon, and even more steamy than it was before because it was dry. Now, excuse me, we're looking for the humidity to be pretty ridiculous for the next couple of days. So here's your forecast day planner for Port Lavaca. We get up at 83. We're going to have some lingering clouds in the morning hours, but then we're going to go sunny pretty quick and get up to about 94 as the winds no longer are influenced by the system. 79 the low in Cuero, getting up to about 99. We had northeast winds yesterday. They'll be southeast by tomorrow, and we're getting back to that good old hot weather. Now, it looks like a lot of raindrops here, right? But it's only a 20% chance of a little pop-up shower in the afternoon hours. Basically, by tomorrow afternoon, we'll see the sun, and you'll see a lot of sun as the temperatures get back up into the low 100s all the way through the weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. I'll toss it back to James.
So close to all that rain. Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, in business news, the U.S. is facing a critical nursing home shortage. The Dow down 174 points, the S&P 500 down 13 points, the NASDAQ up 9 points. Oil down 37 cents, closing at $80.35 a barrel. A Wall Street Journal analysis of federal data shows the U.S. has lost at least 600 nursing homes in the past 6 years. The issue is mainly many older people prefer to get care in their own homes. This drains workers from nursing facilities as the U.S. senior population is set to surge. It could swell from 56 million to 81 million by the end of the decade. The Biden administration is putting pressure on nursing homes to increase hiring. It says it plans to set a minimum ratio of staff time per resident. Meta rolled out the web version of Threads today. It will allow users to post, view, and interact with others via a browser on a desktop. The move puts Threads one step closer to recreating the functions of its rival X, formerly known as Twitter. Threads launched in early July and had more than 100 million signups in the first week. The platform lacked some of what made Twitter so popular, including trending topics and direct messaging. Meta says it's continuing to make updates to Threads, both on the app and on the web version. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Also, a rescue involving 8 people trapped in a cable car in Pakistan.
Without power, highways underwater, a storm slamming into the U.S. The deadly bus accident on the first day of school. Tragedy for an NFL star, his father killed in a house explosion, and the harrowing rescue trapped in a cable car hundreds of feet up. Next.
Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads today, plus On your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV, search Crossroads Today Plus. In Pakistan, authorities rescued 8 people trapped in a cable car suspended high above a canyon. A spokesperson says Army commandos rescued the 6 children and 2 adults after an hours-long operation. Both troops and civilian rescuers took part in the rescue effort. The chairlift was hanging at a height of about 900 feet. I'm glad they're okay. So we were just saying, this rain was better than nothing.
Yes, I mean it's helpful. It's helpful. I mean, it wasn't the big rain that we got down in the Nueces County, of course, the Corpus Christi area, but it was good. And look at that. Everybody out west, the Rio Grande, the Nueces, the Frio, all of those are getting a little water, and that helps. We, of course, need everything to fall in the hill country because that's where the San Antonio and, of course, the Guadalupe River is their watershed. But it was something. It was a nice break, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah.
I mean, we can't be too picky.
And fall is in the 20-something days away now.
Fall is 20-some days away, and you know what? There's the first day in August that we weren't over 100.
Yeah, I saw the rain. I didn't get out in it. That was the goal. Maybe next time.
I'll go out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you, Mac. Thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.